Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Rams House podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the mid-season awards, as it is that time of the
Er,
year. Your host Ethan here, joined by Joe and Will. What's going on, guys?
What's up, boys?
back at it, baby. Mid-season award time. Let's get it.
Yeah, one of the things that we came to a conclusion to when we were doing this is that this is a pretty sad list of awards to put together for the most part. There's a
We
couple
don't,
exceptions.
we don't want to tell them that before they hear it.
It's the options were slim pickings in some of these sections,
especially on offense. It was not easy.
All right, let's jump into our first one here, which is Coach of the Year. I'm going to have Will lead us off. Let's start off with our drum roll.
Drum roll.
Oh, yeah. Love that. All right. So, I went back and forth on this. There's a few position coaches that I think are doing a great job, but this may be a hot take and you guys may disagree with it. But right now, today, midseason, I'm gonna give it to Chris Shula, and I think a reasonable counter argument could be that he has not done the best job, but these things aren't in a vacuum. Meaning, I look at when I think of coaching, I don't just look at the results. I look at what you're working with, what we expected coming into the year. And the thing is, Chris Shula is coaching a bunch of rookies and second year players and guys who are kind of no names. And the defense is trending in the right direction ever since the Raiders game last, 3, 4 weeks. And I'm happy with the direction it's going. I think he's actually probably doing a better job than Sean is with the offense right now. And yeah, I like the trajectory. I'm gonna give it to Chris Shula, man. Rookie head coach, or sorry, rookie defensive coordinator, first year. I think he's doing a good job.
I like that one. If you want to go or should I go?
We're gonna have an agreement on this one, so we can
Okay.
go together. I think we both agreed that basically the trenches coaches are dominating the
Absolutely.
season. We're dominating in both trenches for the most part. I know we've had some struggles with injuries on the O line, but what we've done despite the injuries and what we're doing as we're getting healthy, the O line's been great, D line's been great. So Ryan Wendell and Giff Smith are
Yep.
awesome.
Giff Smith, the defensive line coach, and Ryan Wendell, the offensive line coach. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's yeah. But what they've done has been nothing short of amazing. The run blocking's been great. Pass blocking's been up and down with the injuries, but despite the injuries, like they're making it work, and they both deserve high praise.
So
Super high
basically,
praise.
one
Yeah.
of you has Wendell and one of you has Smith.
Well, we both have both, but it's fine. Yeah, it's
Hey,
same.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa.
Either or.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Either
yeah.
or.
No,
Giff
that's
Smith's
okay
been
though.
really.
Two people with
Yeah.
two.
Giff
That's
Smith's
okay.
been really with the defensive line. Each and every player on the defensive line, other than Hoyt and Bobby Brown, have been amazing. He has the rookies playing their tails off. It's been great.
Yeah, I
Those are
for me it was
those
just
are
the trenches, man. The guys coaching the trenches have been great. That's it.
Yeah. No, those guys both deserve them. Yep.
All right, next up on the list is we're gonna skip the comeback player of the year because we don't really have anyone who's applicable for the comeback player of the year. We're gonna do improved player, and a hint on this is that it doesn't say most improved player. I'm gonna go ahead and give a drum roll.
Joe, you want to go with?
No, I'll lead us off since I gave the little intro there. So the reason it doesn't say most improved player of the year is because I am going to go with a least improved player of the year, which is Kyron Williams. He was all pro, and yes, we talk about all the fact that we had an all pro top 3 run blocking O line last year, and that's kind of one of the complaints that we had about him last year was that he left a lot on the table, and whatever wasn't given to him at the O line, he didn't take. Well, he's doing even worse this season, and he's taking far less than is even being given to him. Um, the downfall from like all pro to he should probably get benched is pretty severe. And so for that reason, I'm going with Kyron Williams as my least improved player of the year.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I went with the more, just most improved player of the year. I picked Byron Young. I think he has taken a good step from year 1 to year 2. I think he is developing into a very solid edge rusher. Obviously,
Complete.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Definitely complete. You've seen the pass rush moves. You've seen him setting a strong edge in the run game. He doesn't have. Does he have the same ceiling as Jared Verse? No, probably. Actually, definitely not. Honestly,
Sure.
but I think he's taken a solid step from year 1 to year 2, and that's my most improved player, Byron Young.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a really good one. Byron Young has shown that he's taken a couple steps forward. I'm gonna go most improved as well. My most improved player is left tackle Alar Jackson. Um, I wouldn't say he's a super fan favorite to a lot of people, but Lamar Jackson to me, going off of last year, he's really improved this year. He's had way more good games than he has bad. Against the Seahawks, he was probably, I mean, not Seahawks, against the Dolphins, he was probably bad, but majority of the season when he's played, he's been really good. So I got a Lamar Jackson, my most improved player of the year.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and move on to offensive rookie of the year. Let's give ourselves a drum roll. Joe, you want to lead us off on this one?
Yeah, I can lead us off. The offensive rookie of the year was kind of hard. Actually, no, it wasn't really hard.
Yeah.
And we probably all have the same player. My offensive rookie of the year is Bo Limmer. Uh, I think Bo Limmer, fifth round pick. I think he was a late fifth round pick out of Arkansas. Him coming in, some of our friends thought he would, in the Rams community, thought he would be a good player. I was I seen some tape on him. He looked good. Some people I respect said that he got drafted way lower than he should have. Some people say he should have been a fourth round guy. But Bo Limmer, my offensive rookie of the year, he stepped in. He's been amazing. He wasn't it that he hasn't allowed a pressure or something like that, or
One
one pressure
pressure in his time starting, at least in the last month.
in the last month? He's been a flat out just amazing. So Bolemer's my
Yeah.
offensive rookie of the year.
Quick correction: he was a 6th round pick, just FYI, so it's even
Sixth
better.
round pick. Okay, yeah.
Will.
Yeah, I mean, this one actually was hard for me because Bo Limmer has played so well that I almost gave him a better award. I almost put Bo Limmer in the just straight up offensive player of the year, and I think if I had done that, it would have been a totally valid pick. But I did settle with him at offensive rookie of the year, and I don't need to add much. He's just played outstanding. Uh, I mean,
Yeah,
you guys have seen
I
it,
agree.
so
He's been great.
Okay, and I am going. I actually had written down Bo Limmer. I'm going to switch it up. No, I'm not Bo Limmer. It's yeah. I was going to mention Jordan Whittington, maybe it's honorable mention because whatever with the time he's gotten, he's actually played really well. But Bo Limmer's been excellent. He's been a stud at center. I think he's the future at center for us. So I'm really excited about that. But it's Bo Limmer's run away with it. I was trying to get cute with it, but really, let's just be real. It's Bo Limmer and it's not even close.
yeah, yeah.
Bo Limmer, 100%.
All right, let's jump into the defensive rookie of the year.
This one should be fun. This one should be
So,
fun.
just as a caveat, we are only doing one player per total in all the spots. So, if the defensive rookie of the year is not who you might think it is, like Jared Verse, for example, he's probably getting awards in other sections like defensive player of the year and other stuff. So, keep that in mind. But let's do our drum roll. All right, Will, you want to lead us off?
Sure. I'm gonna go with Braden Fisk, man. I think he is I'm just
baby.
really excited from what I've seen from him in the past couple weeks. I know some Rams fans were like not very patient with this guy, man. It's like 4 games in and you're like, "Oh, I'm not seeing much from Braden Fisk." I mean, yeah, he's a rookie. It's 3-4 games in, which arguably I actually think I did see flashes right away. But anyways, now it's you can't deny what you're seeing on the tape. I mean, he's coming off his best game last week against Seattle. I think he should be getting more snaps. That's something that we covered in our
Totally.
full length pod, the podcast, if you want to check that out. But either way, Braden Fisk, developing, progressing, improving, showing the potential, man, the flashes you see from him, the quick first step, the quick hands, how quickly he can get to the quarterback. That's my defensive rookie of the year. He looks really good.
Respect. I like that one. Shout out Braden Fisk, man.
Yeah, and Braden Fisk is also my defensive rookie of the year. I don't personally think it's particularly close. I think I wish we could see Braden Fisk playing the correct amount of snaps because I wonder how much higher up in the leaderboards he'd be in pressures amongst defensive tackles and interior linemen. I'd also venture to say from the eye test, I can't back this up with numbers. I'm sure we can find it later, but I would venture to say that Braden Fisk is getting the most double teams on the team as well, which is a big deal. He's doing that job really well, but he's great in the pass rush sets, and he's doing I think pretty darn well in the run stopping sets for a rookie. And I mean, I'm ecstatic to have him on the team, and he's doing excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had an honorable mention. My honorable mention was Jalen McCullough. He had 4 interceptions. I think I just had to give him credit. Undrafted guy, him having 4 picks. Whether or not we could debate on, how the picks came, but he got 4 of them. Only reason I didn't pick him here is because I don't think he hasn't been consistent enough as
Yeah.
with the other things yet. But he's my honorable mention. But my defensive rookie of the year is Braden Fisk. That's
Okay.
same as you guys.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Let's go ahead and move on to the offensive player of the year. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
All right, and I will start us off with this one. My offensive player of the year is Rob Havenstein, and I'll tell you why. The
Oh yeah,
injuries,
Big Rob. Big
the
Rob.
the injuries have really. It's not possible to give it to someone like Stafford or Kyron or our tight end room is a mess. There's no one there. Puka, Cup both have suffered injuries, but even though both are still deserving of this kind of award, but Rob has been a constant, and he has been consistent and like an anchor on the offense when things are falling apart. Rob has been consistently good and kind of holding it all together. So I think he deserves the props. He's turned himself into a top 5 at worst, top 10 right tackle, and he's balling, man. And so kudos to Rob. You've been a stalwart on this offense when it has not looked good all season long. So kudos to Rob.
Yeah, I'm glad to see
Yeah.
him get some love. He deserves it.
Yes,
good pick.
shout out Rob. He's the only player from St. Louis still on the Rams. So
Wow. Yeah.
yeah. I guess I'll go. My offensive player of the year. I have a Cole Award winner. I have 2 guys. I have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Um, they've been injured and they haven't played the full 9 games. But I think just inserting them back into the offense has Miami wasn't good, but just inserting them back to the offense has opened up a lot of stuff, and it has the offense looking better than it did earlier. So I will put Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua as my offensive player of the year.
Yep, good choice.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this was the hardest award for me by far. I mean, Ethan mentioned at the outset that this was kind of depressing.
Yeah.
This award is why this list was depressing for me. It was really hard to pick. And so, like Joe, you mentioned for you it came down to Puka or Cooper. And for me it did too, even though in my head I'm thinking like these guys have only played a few games. So I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to give it to them, but just just how good they've been even in the small sample size, I still did decide to go in
Game
that direction.
changers, bro.
Yeah, and so look, I know this reasoning might not be good, but this is my pick is Puka Nacua. I know he's played in what, like 2.5 games, but the reason I picked him is the ceiling of what he's given us. He's had a couple games with like 8-9 catches for 100 yards. I just think that is the single best like production we've seen out of any player on this offense, even though it's a very very small sample size. So again, it was a tough choice, and there wasn't a lot of great options, but I'll say Puka Nacua.
I agree, man. 100%.
All right. And next, we're moving on to defensive player of the year. Drum roll, please.
Please.
All right, and I will lead us off here. My defensive player of the year is Kobe Turner. I think he's taken a massive leap from last year. Personally, he's wrecking the game in the run and the pass. He seems to be flashing like nonstop in these games. And on second watches of the games, he just gets better. He just when you're looking for guys to pop instead of just like watching the game and enjoying it, he pops, bro. He pops so often. Kobe Turner has been an absolute stud, and I expect him to be an absolute stud for the next 5-10 years. I'm pumped to watch this guy's career progression.
Yeah, 100%.
Go ahead, Will.
I had the same one, and so yeah, it's Kobe Turner for me. And I just want to add that this is the guy in the defense who's supposed to do the dirty work and kind of like the low key, like he's not like the sexy position where
Sure.
he's coming off the edge, and yet he's still, like you just said, Ethan. Even though he has that role and he's taking a lot of double teams, he still does pop and he still does flash, and
Yep.
that's just how good he is. And yeah, Kobe Turner. That's it for me.
I like Kobe Turner. My defensive player of the year, it's not a shocker, but it's sort of a reach a little bit. But my defensive player of the year is Darius Williams.
Okay.
The reason I got D Will here is because when he stepped in to the defense, he made the secondary sort of look different because
He
he's
did.
made great plays, and we have a guy. I've just got confident that we have a guy in the secondary who I know can make plays, who can get stops, who can sometimes guard your best guy. D Will's not a lockdown CB1. He's more of like a really, really great CB2. But I think him just coming back up the secondary some, and it just looks way different with D Will's in there. So he's my deep boy.
That's a good one. That's like the only guy I really trust in coverage right now, or at least the guy I've
100%.
heard the best about. So that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That he's the guy I trust now. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. And I would agree with that. It's a good option, and he was going to be my comeback player of the year because he came back to the Rams. Because
Yeah.
all right, next award is and last award is most valuable player. Let's get a drum roll,
Oh yeah,
please.
baby. And roll.
All right, Will, lead us off. Most valuable player. I think we are all in agreement on this board.
We all got the same one, baby. He could have been
You know what?
multiple
I'm
awards.
gonna let you guys do it.
but-
I'm gonna let you guys do it. Go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah, he could have been multiple awards, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm gonna preface it by saying, he was edge one in the draft for us before the draft began, and certainly afterwards, and we watched more film. He's runaway favorite for defensive rookie of the year in the NFL.
Yep.
He is, and we were just kind of talking about it during the podcast this week. He's looking like he could actually be all pro in his rookie season. And that is Jared Verse. We did not get a good edge. We did not get a great edge. We got a generational edge in this last draft. His name is Jared Verse, and he is taking the league by storm. The crazy thing is he's like up there in pressures and all this stuff, and he's been getting better every single week of the season. And like this week, he had a couple of sacks a little while ago. He had a strip sack against the guy who hadn't allowed a sack all season in Terrion Armstead. So that it's just unbelievable. He's beating the best left tackles in football. Trent Williams, Terrion Armstead, like he's destroying them. He's making them look silly. When he does stunts inside, he's just obliterating guards and centers, knocking them off balance, using leverage. Like, dude, he's everything you could ever want in an edge rusher, and he's going to be. I mean, hot take for those of you who are not paying attention: Jared Verse is a Hall of Fame talent, and he's a generational talent. And I'm so pumped to have him on the Rams, and he's easily, without question, the most valuable player on this team.
100%, man. And it's for some, it makes him crazy to think that through 8 games he's a Hall of Fame talent. But I'm telling you, if he keeps this up, and the funny thing about it, he's to be honest, to me, he's far from like what his true, what he could actually be, which is crazy. Right now, he's elite. He can get way better too.
There's some refinements to be made.
And once he refines everything, he's just going to be the best in the league, man. Because he's already top 5 to me. So Jared Verse is the MVP, 100%.
It's funny because we've been watching it and talking about it, but he's working on the spin move, and he's almost got it down. That counter spin move is going to be deadly when he gets that thing perfected.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about the other day on the other podcast how just complete of a pass rusher he is. We were talking about how Robert Quinn is kind of just like all he had was the speed, kind of the bend around the edge. The thing about Verse too is, to your guys' point about how like he's just scratching the surface, is I almost feel like he hasn't even had to use his other moves.
Yeah.
Because he's just been bull rushing and bullying. But don't mistake that for that's all he can do.
Correct.
Because like I said, he just hasn't even had to take that out of his bag yet because he's just bullying left tackles. But he can he can hit the spin. He can use his hands. And I'm sure we're gonna start to see that more and more. I mean, he's been the best player on our team as far as just body of work. Again, we mentioned Cooper, Puka. They just haven't played enough games. So to me, this was pretty easy. And just one more thing I want to add is, again, not just a pass rusher. The way he sets the edge and run support, and I've noticed this so many times, especially recently, is like, if you guys notice, there's a lot of plays where he blows up the edge, and he might not get the tackle, but he blows up that running play, and then like someone else will get the tackle, or they'll have to, be forced inside. So in other words, too, he just makes even more of an impact than the numbers show.
Absolutely.
Jared Verse, man, he's the best. I mean, he's playing the best on the team. It's got to be him.
100%. Hold on, real quick. He's the best player on this team?
Well, I'm saying body of work, because I'm saying like, again, Cooper, Puka, they just haven't played enough games. So I'm saying if you look at like the whole body of work, I think he's been.
No, it was really like a question. Do you think he's the best player on this team?
He is. Yes.
You think he is?
that's
I
a
think it's
tough-
close.
that's a
I
good
think it's
question.
close. I think it's
Can I
close.
tell you why he's the best
I would
player in
probably
this
still
league?
give it to the receiver. I would probably still give it to Cooper.
Can I
and
tell you
Puka,
why
but
he's the best player in the league or on this team?
On his team, yeah.
Because what other player on this team is top 5 at his position?
I think. Ooh, yeah. I mean, that's a
Puka's
yeah. when you put
great,
it
but he's
that
not a
way,
top
that's-
5 receiver.
Yeah.
Cup's
No,
not a
you're
top
right,
5
he's not.
receiver. Stafford hasn't been playing top 5 all season long. The only guy we have that's top 5 at his position is Jared Verse.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Maybe Steve,
mean,
maybe.
I think.
Yeah.
Or this.
Uh,
Who else on this team is up for an All Pro award? Like legit has a
Well,
chance to get it.
I think that is fair. I also think the competition
Today, Cooper has a
is-
chance, but today is Jared Verse. Only is Jared.
because we talked about the edge rushers right now in football, like a lot of the top names have maybe taken like a half step back or aren't having their best season.
Yeah.
Versus like at receiver, it's like it's just so crowded at the elite. But I don't think.
But
what you're
that's
saying
it.
is-
That's the gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're competing against
No, I
people in
think
your
it's
position.
that he is. Yeah.
And so when you that's how I look at it. It's like, where do you rank amongst your peers?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made. He's the best player on the whole team. Yeah. It's either him or one of those receivers, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think we're
and yeah, I mean,
Which one?
No,
Well-
keep in mind, we may have a different answer if Puka and or Cup had been healthy all season, and we're putting up
Right.
top 5 numbers. But the reality is, injuries affect awards. This is an award show. The realities affect awards, and that needs to be taken into account.
I
yeah,
agree.
no, I feel this was the easiest one for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Versus the easiest
Shout out
one.
Jared Verse.
All right, guys, we appreciate you watching our mid-season award show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let us know in the comments who you agree with, disagree with, and
Yeah,
what
let
your
us
thoughts
know.
are on the team at the mid-season point. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys next episode of the Rams House Podcast.
Go Rams.
Sir, be safe, everyone. Be safe.
Later.